So, Sai Ram to all of you. Welcome to this session. And as always, let us begin by dedicating this program at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan and praying that he will be with us this evening for this session. Thank you all for joining. And this session is basically because most of you wanted to know about integrating values in your schools. How can you integrate values? And I am Akila Indurti and I'm from Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini. Vidya Vahini has been pioneering value education in schools along with other pedagogy modules right from 2011 when we first began the program. So I will, over the next hour, I will try to take you all through how we can integrate values as part of our school education and what is the methodology that Vidya Vahini uses. So the first thing that I would request all of you is, in case you have any questions to ask, or you have a feedback, or you have anything to say, kindly make use of the chat box. This will be an interactive session in the sense we will be running a few questions in between where we would request your participation. Kindly participate whenever I ask you to, answer a question or just to get some feedback from you, just to make it interactive. Apart from that, if you have anything towards the last 15 minutes, I would like to give the floor to anybody in this particular group who wants to, in case you have any doubt or if you have anything to say, or you want to note down something and then ask, you can feel free, so that you first we go through the presentation and then I leave the floor open to you all to give your responses. I hope that is agreeable to all of you. So we will begin this session, and this is value integration in schools. How can we have inspiring schools? How can we integrate the values? You see this word
Well,
4 C's. I will be explaining to you what the 4 C's are all about. Why do I say 4 C's? What does it actually mean? It is actually part of our Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini methodology. This will be the agenda that we will be following
నేను
today.
రాసుకోవాలి not
Uh, I would request you all to please be on mute so that there are a lot of people attending this.
Please unmute, madam.
Yeah, see what happens is, I think when they are trying to mute all of you, mine also gets automatically muted. So if you want that situation not to arise, it's my humble request. Please mute yourself so that there will not be interference when we begin the session. As I told you, we'll give you the floor towards the end so that you can feel free to participate, to jump in and participate towards the end. So this will be the agenda. The first thing, we will begin by talking about what is the situation today and why do we require value education? What exactly do we mean by human values? When can human values be imparted? Where can it be imparted? Is there a methodology for doing it? So how do we do it? And then we talk about the SSSVV methodology, the Vidya Vahini methodology, which is now a time-tested method because schools are following it. What happens if you use this? What is the outcome of this holistic education? And what is the effect of this value education on students and teachers? And I will also be giving you a few sample, we call it assets. Assets means a part of a lesson plan, how we can include values integrated with our daily lessons. So this, in short, will be the agenda for this evening's program. My presentation will be largely in English because we have a mixed crowd from different states. But when you ask your questions, I am quite familiar with Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. So you can ask any question. Feel free to ask in the language that is comfortable for you. But this presentation will be in English because it would be the common language of communication since we are from different states, at least from the different states of South India. I hope that is also acceptable to you. Yeah, so this in short is the situation today. Most of you are familiar. There is a lot of competition. It is not enough if we just do well. We are always competing with others. We want to excel in so many things. We want to see that we are not left in the rat race, so to say. So there is excessive competition in the world today. That is something that all of us are familiar with. And then what about our desires? So many things as the days go by with all the online shopping and festival discounts and so many things that are happening. In fact, just the other day, I was reading in the newspaper that the e commerce sites are saying that it is not enough if we just have a few festivals throughout the year. We should make every day entice our customers in such a way that it should be a festival. This is totally a Western concept. You have the Black Friday sale, you have the Monday blue sale. You have all kinds of days. Every day is associated with a sale, and there is so much that we see. There are everything that the senses can want, and so there is no end to it. And finally, we wonder why we keep accumulating so many things when it is there's no space either in our cupboards or in our house. We are forced to, remove the junk, and then we realize why did we even buy it? And in some cases, I know many people may not even. There are people who don't even remove the package, so as soon as they buy, they put it and they forget about it. So that is the kind of convenience that has come into our own living rooms, where with a click of either on the mobile or on our laptop or on the tablet, we can indulge in our desires. So I don't have to speak much about the desires that is there in the world today. And what about aggression? Every day, if you take the newspaper, it is a question of road rage and people getting angry. Everybody seems to be in a rush. Everybody is in a hurry. People want to do so many things, but then when they are stopped, either because there is a lot of traffic on the road, or there is a lot of things, there's too much of a rush. People, there are a lot of aggression. If we don't get our deliveries within 10 minutes, we try to shout at the delivery boy because it is all entitlement. We think that, we are, that's how the society has made us. It keeps saying that the customer is king. So we feel that, we have to be always entitled. And so others have to be at our beck and call. So all this, if that a momentary expectation is not fulfilled, then there is a lot of anger, there is a lot of aggression. And schools and educational institutions, I don't have to talk to you all about bullying. There's so much of bullying happening. People are now saying that, it is not just physical bullying, there's also emotional bullying that's happening. So there is too much of violence everywhere. And when you just analyze the reason, you can just think about it. In our when the long ago, when we all started school, maybe in the 70s and 80s, there was something called a moral education. We used to have a moral education class. At least that 1 hour, we used to listen to some story or something which our teachers used to say. There used to be an assembly period where every day some value or some good thought used to be discussed. All that, somewhere down the line, people felt that, it is not necessary for us to have all those things because it is just eating into our prime time. So people thought that, at least educational institutions thought that they need not waste their time in moral education, so they just left it without having a separate class for that. And now, of course, it has become too late. And when children grow up, they feel that schools need not preach anything. They are there because they have to teach something, not because they have to preach. So that is the kind of situation that we have. Now, with all these things, are we a very happy lot? No, there is so much of anxiety. All the time we think that we have to do something, we are in a rush to do it. 24 by 7 there is traffic on the road and people are all busy with their work. And now we say that we have to work according to the US time, the Europe time, the Australia time. So to throughout the day and throughout the night there are companies working. There is so much of anxiety because they are not able to complete their targets, they are not able to work to the expectation. So, with all these things, what is happening is it is a society which is a very, very anxious society. And there are a lot of worries. We don't know. Many people think they now with all the AI and all these things happening, will we even be able to keep our jobs? So that is another kind of worry. So this and there is a fear. There is a fear of the unknown. There is a fear of the known. We live in a society where all these things have become so common. So this is the kind of situation that all of us are facing. How is the education scene? If you just look at the education scene today, you find that we are all geared up for various examinations. There is this test and that test, and there's an admission test, and there is the CET and the NEET, and right from the time a child enters the school, parents have decided that you have to make something out of these children. Schools have decided that they have to only concentrate on their pass percentages. So it's all oriented towards an examination system. It is not just acquisition of knowledge, or it is not just for learning purpose. We feel that we have to see that the children do their exams properly. And after the exams, what is the outcome of these examination? It's not because nobody says, I went to an exam, I studied because I want to gather knowledge. Even at home, what is it that the parents say? If you study well, you will get good marks. If you get good marks, you will get into a good college. If you get a good college degree, then of course you will get a good job. So that's the kind of progression. Examination is geared only towards employment. And after that, you feel you're so empowered. All of us are so empowered. But are we? That's the question. So now that's the great paradox that exists in this world. Long ago, there wasn't this many degrees. There weren't this many degrees. There weren't so much of things to study, not so many things. Now you have, at the click of the button, you have the entire information. We are, in fact, living in an age of information overload. This is the great paradox of education. That is, more education has not given rise to happiness. It has only given rise to greed and selfishness and ego and lack of sincerity and integrity. Now, this is what the famous economist Schumacher asks. Is there a problem in education, or is education itself the problem? That is something that we really need to think about. Let me just stop for a second here and we'll just run a question for all of you. You will get a question on your screen for which you can answer, give the answer. There will be 1 minute given to you for taking the answer. You just have to click. It will be in the form of an MCQ. Can I request that? Yes, here we are. Please try and answer this question and let's see how the responses are. You get 1 minute to answer this question. You can click there, click on the screen. There is a checkbox given. Is it a choice A or B or C or D? Yeah, I hope all of you have completed that. Okay, so the question that was given to you all was, today's education is synonymous with, and there were a few choices that were given. So if you have watched the previous slide, you will know that today's education is synonymous with examination and employment. So if that was the answer that you gave, can we also see the responses? How many responses were correct? Is it possible for us to get the response also on the screen? All right. As we wait for the responses to come, because whatever you have voted will be shown. Let's yeah. Okay. So if you have given examination and employment as your answer, then that would be the right response that you have given. So today seems to be a disharmony in these four levels. This is what Swami always used to refer to. He would, at the individual level, he would call it as vyashti. So now we've seen how the situation is today. There is a lot of disharmony in in the level of man, in the individual man, and okay. At this level, there is no control. There are excessive desires. We've seen what the problems faced by man are. Because men together have a lot of these problems, then at the level of samashti, that is at society, there is a lot of unethical behavior. There is greed, there is violence, there are so many unethical things happening at the societal level itself. Then what about at the level of nature? I don't have to explain. One look at what is happening across the world and even in our own country. We have unseasonal rains, we have landslides, we have each one of our states and cities and towns have been affected in the past few years because of all these. We have had cyclones, we have had rains in summer, we've had very severe winters, and we have had, whether it is a lot of loss of life because of these landslides and floods. So all these have happened because we are leading such an unsustainable life. We are cutting down trees in the name of development. We don't think, we don't bat an eyelid before doing these things. So we are paying a price, and many places are facing the man animal conflicts. They say that we have the animals have come into our land. Have the animals really come into our city or town? I think it is we who have gone into their forests and cut down their habitation and taken away their places. So we've been doing everything possible to go on a rampage against nature and Mother Earth. So when it is payback time, it becomes very difficult for us to digest. But this is what is happening across the world, across the country today. So nature is being polluted, and there is so much of exploitation of natural resources that is happening. And of course, when it comes to the creator, Parameshti, at that level, it is no longer religion which preaches love. It is really, it's like my religion is better than yours, or this is what it is. There's so much of aggression, there is intolerance, all these things are happening. So we see that there is plenty of disharmony in these different levels. So this is the broad background that I wanted to place before you in order to impress on why we actually require a value education in schools. Why should values be imparted? As we have seen, More education, we thought, would bring us more money. More money would mean more goods we could buy. People thought that a good life is actually goods life. If you buy more goods, then we have a good life. And that would give us more happiness. But is that the actual situation? And how is this message being pumped in? It's being pumped in and day out by all the commercials that you're seeing on television, on YouTube, wherever, whether it is the social media, whether it is the digital media or the electronic media, or in the newspapers, the print media, full page advertisements which tell you that, uh, buy this, buy that. There's so much of so many things that our senses can indulge in. So this kind of a message, that more things dil mangta hai more, that is what they say. So all these things are being pumped in relentlessly by our commercials. So this is what the eye is constantly seeing and the ears are constantly listening to. Now, does all this accumulation bring in happiness? Is the question that we really need to ask. There is so much of competition, or I should say, in the current day world, there is always this battle between materialistic values and our traditional value systems. Maybe our fathers and forefathers never had all these things, but they seem to have certainly lived a more contented life. So there is this conflict between material values and traditional values that we have almost forgotten. So, if this is just going to affect us as individuals, that's fine, no problem. But today it is affecting the entire planet. Whatever we have done, we have brought in so many, the entire, what do we do with our waste management? The rivers are polluted, our mountains are being cut in the name of development. We have gone and plundered all the resources, so it is affecting not just our greed, is not affecting not just us as individuals, but this entire planet. So what is it that we actually require? We require a humane society which leads to a better world. And what happens when we start thinking not just about I, me, mine, but about others also? If we think about serving others, which is very much a part of our Sathya Sai Seva organization, why is it that we have to serve others? Is it because we're doing a great act of goodness to others? Science tells us when you help others, whether they get benefited or not is secondary. What happens to you is it is just good for your health because it secretes happy hormones. There is a lot of secretion of happy hormones in our body, and that is what is going to lead to our own good health. So it is not just doing something for others, whether they benefit or not, we do not know, but it is also good for our own selves. At this point, I would like to run another poll with all of you. There's another question that is going to be popping up on the screen, which is a very pertinent question for all of us. See, it's so easy to say all this message is being pumped by advertisements and commercials. But just look at this question. Is it possible not to get tempted by the products shown in the advertisements? I want you all to take an honest answer. Can any one of us here say that we are not tempted? No, I am not going to look at these advertisements. These are not going to tempt me. Is it possible not to get tempted by these products that are shown in the advertisements? I want an honest answer, honest response to this. Wonderful. 58%, 59% have said that it is just not possible not to be tempted by these products. That means we are getting tempted. Okay, it has now become 62%. And 38% says, yes, we are not going to be tempted, which means that you have really great control over yourselves. That's highly commendable. I don't belong to that category at all. At least somewhere at some time we do look at advertisements and we do get tempted. The minute you go to a hypermarket, or when something pops up, you say, maybe this is just what I want. This is quite the thing that I'm looking for, and here it has come. So maybe 9 times, if you say no, at least one time you would definitely get tempted. So that's a great acknowledgement of our own likes and dislikes. All right. Now we move on and we look at the different aspects of our personality. See, as educators, we know that there are lot of aspects, many dimensions to our personality. It's not just the physical personality that we see. We have the physical, where we engage in action, what we all see, that is the physical one. And then we have the intellectual, which we're all the time trying to know something, we're trying to understand something. So that is the intellectual dimension. Then we have the social dimension. We are all, as a species, we are social beings. So we love to move with others. We can't live in isolation. We want to be with everybody. We want to move with everyone. So we are social beings. And to a large extent, we love to be in harmony with humanity and nature. And then we also are emotional beings. We have this emotional dimension. It's not possible to divest ourselves of emotions. Every day we have a lot of the interplay of emotions. That is what our great books have also said: rajas, tamas, sattvic. The same thing is what psychology also says. We have so many emotions: anger, happiness, sadness, kindness, so many things. So we are a bundle of emotions. And then we also have this intuitive side to us. We have the spiritual side to our personality, which we call it as the psychic or the spiritual side. Now, our education actually focuses a lot on the physical aspect and to a large extent on the intellectual aspect. To some extent, social skills are being taught in schools. So I can say 1, 2, and 3 to some extent are being taught in the schools. But the fourth and the fifth are woefully left behind in our education system. So the problem is, yeah, the problem with our education is that we are looking only at filling our heads. And that's why a wise man said that, it's not a pot to be filled. Our head is not like a pot which has to be filled, but actually education has to kindle the spark that is there within each one of us. So are we actually kindling that spark? Are we trying to ignite that spark that is there within each one of us? Teachers don't have the time. Our syllabuses are geared in such a way that it is throughout the year the classes are packed, so they don't have the time to actually look at either the emotional side or the spiritual side. So this is what is the problem in our schools today, and that is why we have students who come out of the school who are so good in their marks, but they do not know how to handle. You just tell them something. We read in the papers a child went and harmed herself or himself because the parent has told them not to use the phone. So something as simple as that, they're so sensitive. That's what they say. They're so sensitive that they can't tolerate anybody telling them anything. So they are such fragile children that is the kind of society that we are actually bringing our children in. Nobody should tell them anything. We don't like anybody telling our children anything. We don't like anyone to tell us anything. So whatever we do is the right, whatever our children do is the right. Entitlement. So this is the kind of thing, and therefore they are not able to handle emotions. There is a lot of behavioral issues that teachers are facing in the school. They do not know how to handle them, because if a teacher shouts, then immediately a parent comes and shouts back at the management and say, how dare your teacher shouts at our children. No, we are not sending our children to your school so that they can be shouted at. But what about their bullying? What about their aggressive nature? That is all right. That is for you to find out how to deal with. So the teachers are actually, at the end of the day, they are the punching bag for everybody. They have themselves not been taught how to handle a bunch of children. We at homes are not able to have control over one or two children. How do we expect a class full of 30, 40 children, unruly children? How can a teacher hold their attention? How can a teacher handle them? So this kind of our education system is not geared to handle these issues. We just brush it, as into under the carpet, thinking that we'll deal with it later. So it becomes such an exhausting, the profession itself, it is such an exhausting thing. By the time the teachers go back, they are so exhausted because they have spent a lot of their energy in dealing with things which are not actually for what they have been signed up. They have signed up for something else, but they see in the class that it is not just their education, the knowledge which matters. There are so many other things that they have to hold on to. So this is the problem with our education system. The emotional and the spiritual aspects are not being given any importance. So what is it that we need? Do we actually need a reformation in the education system? Carl Rogers is such a great humanist. He was actually the father of humanistic philosophy. He was the one who started where we all started studying about the affective aspects of education. He says we have been concentrating on the neck up. Actually, what we should be doing is we should also be concentrating on the neck down, that is the heart. We have not, our education system is not geared to touching the heart of the children. The heart of education is the education of the heart. And that is what NEP is now realized and talking about in a great deal. It says we need education for change because the purpose of education system is to develop good human beings. Nobody asks at the time after the degrees that we get, maybe it only gets us into a good job. After that, nobody ever says how many degrees have you acquired. And having acquired all those degrees, think for a moment, do you all remember what you all studied in your school and college? What is it that you remember? Do you remember the lessons that were taught in your class, or do you remember the way the teacher handled the class or handled a problem? Why do we remember some teachers? Because they really went, there was something that, touched the chords of our heart, some way in which the teacher, taught us. But there are also teachers whom we don't want to remember because we know that they were extremely cruel to us. They were not empathetic. So we don't want to think of those teachers. They bring back unpleasant memories of school to us. So the actual purpose is not to have children with a string of degrees, but to develop good human beings because only they can actually be good citizens of the country. So there's no point in crying after a child has become 20, 25, 30 and saying, oh my God, what is it that we have created? So this is the problem that we need to have. As I spoke to you about the various aspects of the human personality, that is the holistic development of the human personality. Every aspect of the of a child's personality, the psychic, that is the spiritual or the emotional or the social or the physical or the intellectual, our education system has to actually think about all these various aspects of the personality. What do we actually mean by value education? Value education is actually the transmission of the ethical, moral values which form students' personalities. And this has to contribute to their overall development. These values have to contribute to their overall development. And we also have to prepare them to make meaningful contributions to society. It is not enough if they just lead a life for themselves. In what way have they been a value addition to the society? So, education is for life and not just for earning a living, is the actual tagline for our human values education. Now, at this point, I would like you all to also look at one more question that's coming up on your screen. Can you please answer that question, which is going to pop up on your screen just now? Since we have a lot of participants, it's not possible for us to go through each one individually. We are taking this, we're following this method. Can you name any one human value? Now, we've been talking about human values throughout. Before I plunge into and ask what are the human values, what are the intrinsic values, what are extrinsic values, I would like you all to write just one, mention any one human value that is very dear to you or that you heard about. Please make use of that, what you see on your screen. All right. Can we also get the responses? What responses our participants have given? All right. Until we get that, we'll just move on. So once we get it, it'll pop up on the screen. So, what exactly are human values? Human values are core characteristics which define the goodness of human behavior. These are our core characteristics. We don't have to go to any shop to get them. It's not something that we have to acquire elsewhere. It is all there within us. So this is the our own characteristics, our own core characteristics, which actually bring out our goodness. These guide our actions. These define our personality. When we go out somewhere, people would recognize us and say, this person is known for this. This characterizes our interactions, the way we speak, our choices, our behaviors. We don't have to go advertising that we are all from the Sai fold. Long, long ago, Swami in one of his discourses said, you don't have to tell anybody that you are a Sai devotee. It'll come out, it'll be manifested in your own behavior. If your behavior is good, if your behavior stands out from the rest, if you follow the rules of the society, Sangha Niti, Papa Biti, Daiva Priti, if you follow these, and if these are intrinsically woven into every aspect of our action and behavior, our attitudes, our understanding, if these shape our character, then definitely we are people who follow human values. We don't have to go advertising. It is not something that we wear on a Sunday with our white and white and our scarves on. It is something that we wear on our sleeve every moment of our lives. Is it possible for us to behave that way? Or is it only a behavior that we choose when we go to the organization or sit in a bhajan or sit or do go for some seva? Human values are something that are like a second nature to us. It's our own, it's something that we wear throughout. So any action which is done without a selfish motive towards a common greater good, always putting others in front, always putting not just us, it's not the I, me, and mine culture. It is becoming more and more difficult in the world today because what we see around the society is absolute selfish, crass society. So, under those circumstances, is it possible for us to follow at least a few of these values that we, can keep for ourselves, which we think that we can follow? So these are actually universal. There are not. It's not something that human values for people in the Sai fold, human values for Indians, human values for those abroad. No, these are universal. Whichever country we are dealing with, whichever school or college or place or people that we are talking to, these are universal values. So they transcend both time and space. And these should become the basis of our life and existence. And what exactly are the human values? Many of you might have written a lot of human values. We have consideration, dignity, honesty, integrity, compassion, love. The main five values are there: truth, love, peace, right conduct, and non-violence. And then we have so many other values. And now our education system, NEP, all that we study about in our own pedagogy wants us to concentrate on constitutional values, because these are universal, because these are something that are intrinsic to everybody. And this is what we in the organization have also been stressing upon right from the time that we started the education and human values. Bhagwan was gracious to have blessed us with this program in 1983, much before the world woke up, much before it became a part of school curriculum, or UNICEF trying to subscribe to it. Much before all these things happened, in 1983, Bhagwan started the education in human values, and he gave us the five main values, that is truth, love, peace, non-violence, and right conduct, and a whole gamut of sub values under each one. So we could think about them as intrinsic and extrinsic, something that is within us: humility, responsibility, self respect, empathy, compassion. All these are from within us. And extrinsic. Extrinsic is, how do you show it out? How does it manifest? By caring for our environment, by keeping our surroundings clean, by participating in nation building, by appreciating other cultures, by respecting other religions, other faiths, having inclusivity, sensitivity, and tolerance towards all. We accommodate everybody's views because not all of us are the same. We follow rules of the society. Uh, do we jump the signal because there is no radar or no policeman looking at us, or because that is the right thing to do? It's so difficult in the world, because even if you want to follow the rule, there'll be a fellow at the back who's honking, who wants to push you because nobody else is coming on the other side. You have to stand your ground and be firm. So how firm are we? Well, these are everyday occurrences, these are everyday situations. So are we able to follow these values in our daily lives? So when exactly should these values be imparted? Is there a time and an age for it? Yes, we say catch them young. Right from the time they enter the school, we have to have the values, a part of value education as part of their curriculum. Because what cannot be bent at 5 can never be bent at 50. That's what the saying is. So we catch them even as they are very young. So right from the time they join the school, maybe nursery, elementary, through the primary, secondary, senior secondary, the middle school, the high school, and the tertiary level, that's the college level. These values have to be reinforced as meta messages. There is no question of preaching to children. It's children don't like us to give them lectures. They say nowadays you have YouTube shorts. Nobody wants to even listen to. I'm thankful to all of you for having agreed for this 1 hour session. People don't even want to sit. People don't want to listen to even 10 minutes of a talk. If there is a short YouTube short, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, that's all that we have time for. We have so many other things to do. So we need to package these values also as part of our lessons in a very subtle way. How do we do it? The school, we know, is the ideal place to begin imparting these values, because children spend a lot of their time here, morning till evening, and maybe right from the time they enter when they are 2.5 or 3 till the time they're 20, they are there in the school. So we don't preach to the children, but we seize the opportunity that is presented. The seizing the moment is something that all of us as teachers will have to learn to do. You don't need a separate time, you don't need a separate model class. Even as you're imparting your lessons, if there is something that has happened, an event of great importance, every day if you look at the newspapers, something or the other will be happening. So deftly weaving them as part of your lessons, You just give them a small message. For example, if there were floods somewhere, you just casually ask them, why do you think these floods happen? What happens to the human, the tragedy that happens to human lives? There's loss of cattle, there's loss of lives, loss of houses. Why do you think these things happen? And then maybe they would say, we cut down trees. Why do we cut down trees? Because we want to lay roads. So, how do we go on without laying roads? We need the roads as well. We can't have a place, we can't walk on narrow paths, and people are all, the population is increasing. So, we need to, our cities are expanding, our towns are expanding. So, how do we balance growth and this kind of a development? How do we not cut down trees, but at the same time, how do we plan for development? Now, you've sown a thought in the child's mind. All this is related to the flooding, all this is related to climate change, the weather vagaries. So, this is how we try to integrate these things. Or if there was a violent incident, every day we read in the paper somebody harming themselves, somebody harming someone else, shootings that are happening in other places. It may not have still started in India, but we can definitely make use of those lessons and say, why do children behave aggressively? Just 2 minutes, 1 minute in the class, some value is being taught to the child using by seizing the moment. You're seizing the moments. You don't need a separate lesson, but you're just integrating it as part of your daily lessons. So, this is how we try to convey values as part of our regular curriculum. So, what do we require right now is integral education. All along, we've been concentrating only on the cognitive, that's on the brain, the knowledge part. But we need to concentrate on the affective, that's the heart, that is the attitude. We need to empower them with a good attitude. And for that, as teachers, we need to also be practicing what we are saying. If a child says good morning in the morning, how many of us as teachers smile back and say, yes, good morning, hello, how are you? Or do we just look the other side because we are teachers? It's happening in the schools. Teachers think that they don't have to wish a child, but the minute you have done that, you have snuffed out a good value in the child. The child thinks it's quite all right to behave this way. So he will go back and behave the same way with others. But if you wish the child back, or if you start by saying, good morning, how are you? They will make it a point. You are educated, the child is still not educated. Every time we enter into a lift and the elevator man opens or our time to get out comes, do we really thank the person or we just walk out? We don't even acknowledge his presence. Why do we do that? Because we think, oh, he's only a lift man. Why should we acknowledge? So our education has not taught us to even acknowledge a person's labor. There is no dignity of labor. So we are sending, if we as human beings, these are small instances, but these are practical instances. If we don't follow, the minute we get out of an auto, we say thank you. The minute we go to a shop, we say thank you, or please, or sorry. In today's world, please, sorry, excuse me, all these have simply gone out of the window. Because nobody uses them, so the younger generation thinks that it's quite all right for them to also behave that way. They all learn only by imitating. If they behave that way, that means we have not taught them the right value. So, this is the attitude that we need to cultivate in schools. Schools are the places where teachers, these are small changes. Wishing a child, making a child happy, smiling at children. I have seen teachers who don't have forgotten the art of smiling. I wonder if the profession has really driven them so much away from even smiling, bringing a smile on their faces. Are we filled with so much worry and anxiety that we have lost the art of smiling? So these are all the small things in our attitude which we can change. And then, of course, concentrating on the skills, our psychomotor skills, the hands. So doing good things is this is what is EHV. Swami all the time says EHV is 3HV, the three vital aspects. That is integration of the head, the heart, and the hand, which means you first be, then do, and then tell. So, manasekam, vachasekam, karmanekam. Everybody knows to speak. Today we have all mastered the art of double speak, double think. We think something, we speak something, and double act. We can act yet another way. So this is where there is no integrity, and that is where all the problems come. Even problems, in the sense, in our own health problems with health come because we are not able to manage this integrity. We are not able to keep to this integrity. So what is the purpose of the Satyasai education? It is to bring about an all-round development of the human personality. You remember those 5 aspects that we saw. The all-round balanced development is what we need to focus upon, and this way we are able to contribute to building a society which upholds the universal ideals of peace, freedom, and social justice. The more the society needs all these things, the more we need to be at it. We have to. It may be a very small percentage of teachers following it. It may be a very small percentage of people focusing upon it. But never mind. You all remember this starfish story. There was this lot of starfish that were beached early morning, and this one young man was throwing them all back into the sea because he wanted to save them. And there were hundreds of starfish on the shore, and he had to do this task before the sun rises. Another man was watching him, and he's saying, "What are you doing? Do you think you're really going to save all these people, all these starfish? Are you going to be like a messiah for them? What difference is it going to make? Because obviously this is an impossible task." So he just picks up one starfish and throws it and says, "Yes, I'm going to make a difference in this one life. For this one starfish, at least I would have made a difference." So that is what we need to do, building that society where all these, when there is a harmony of the head, heart, and hands, we will be able to achieve this kind of an education. We will be able to give this kind of an education where there is unity of these 3H: harmony in thought, feeling, and action. It may be a minuscule. In these thousands of teachers, there may be a handful of teachers who are practicing it. Never mind, at least to those uh, batches of children that come through your hands, they would be touched by your love and by your compassion. And that is what we need to look at today. Compassion is something that is being lost in our education. And that's why the SSSVV methodology talks about the insightful, inspiring, enjoyable, and participative education. How do we ignite minds with insightful ideas? So the Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini follows a particular methodology where we try to kindle the curiosity of children using not just the textbook lessons, but by giving them a lot of extra material which will make it very easy for the teachers to handle it. And what we'll do looking at today is the uh, inspiring pillar of education, which is to also integrate human values as part of their regular school curriculum. And then we also want to make the school experience enjoyable. How can we make the school experience enjoyable? Students should say, "Thank God it's a Monday," and not run away on a Saturday saying that, "Oh my God, thank God I'm running away from school." They should feel, want to come to school. Is that possible at all? Is it possible to bring that joyous atmosphere in the classrooms? And we also want to ensure that every child participates. No child should be left behind, whether it is a backbencher or the child is in the front row. Now, I want to run another poll with all of you at this point of time. Look at your screens. There'll be one more question that's popping up. Do you all agree with this question? Please look at it and click on those choices that are given. The question for you is, how many of you believe that an element of joy should be included in classroom learning? Do you think your classrooms should be fun filled? Do you think that your classes should be joyous? Should there be is fun actually an element that you should include in your classrooms? Do you agree with it? Or do you somewhat agree? Or do you totally disagree? Yes, most of you have responded saying that, yeah, 94%, 93% have agreed. 94, yes, 94%, have agreed that there should be an element of fun. All right, there's one more question that's going to come up. That's actually an corollary to this. Do you feel, look at that other question that's coming up. Okay, now how many of you feel that including elements of fun will make your classroom noisy with discipline issues? Because that's another problem in our schools. We don't believe in noisy classrooms. We want the classrooms to be as quiet as possible. So, how many of you think that classrooms should be joyous, or you feel it will become noisy with discipline issues? Do you believe that including elements of joy will make your classroom noisy? Yeah. Some of you have, okay, this is half half. Some of you somewhat agree that it will be noisy. Some of you feel you somewhat agree. Some of you disagree that it is like that. All right. So the answer to this is it is quite all right to have a noisy classroom, in my opinion. When you say a classroom should be quiet, in English we always say as quiet as a graveyard. Nobody ever says as quiet as a classroom. If it's a graveyard, it can be quiet, but if it's a classroom, it's filled with live children. So what we are looking at is not the boisterous fun that we have on the playground, not that unruly kind of fun that we have in the playgrounds, but what is this fun that we are looking at, where it is extremely enjoyable to study. That's the kind of fun, when you learn something new, when you want to learn something, when you have learned something that is you feel, aha, this is what I want to learn, this is so enjoyable, this is so wonderful, this concept is really extremely lovely that I can use it. So that's the kind of joy that we are looking at. It's that reflective joy that we are looking at, not the boisterous unruly fun that you associate with a playground. That's not what we are looking at, and that's what Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini's methodology is all about. So we also have our domains of influence. We talk about our classroom domain. Okay, so we have these four. Remember, in the initial opening slide, I had put up that four C's. Now we come to what are those four C's. In Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini, we call these as our expanding domains of influence. We call the first one as the classroom, the first C, which all of us are familiar with. And the next one is the corridor. The corridor is not actually the physical space of the corridor, but it includes all the learning spaces in the school. And the third one, C, is the campus, the entire campus. And the fourth one is the community, that is including the parents and other external stakeholders. Now, where can we integrate these values? These values can be integrated. These values can be integrated in the classroom, in the corridor, in the campus, and in the community. Let's just see how we can do it. We're not only looking at integration. Classroom integration is when we look at through the lessons, how to integrate them as part of our lessons, but there are also other ways to integrate them. Is there a method as to how to integrate these values? Here we'll follow the same language or the same method that's followed by the advertisements. What do the commercials do? If you're watching your favorite serial or your cricket match or a football match, every 2 minutes there is the advertisement that's coming in. So much so you wonder, oh my God, when is it going to end? The program begins with advertisement, it's filled with these commercials, the same thing. Why do they do it? They keep the advertisers keep playing the spots again and again so that subconsciously that message gets embedded into your mind. So when you go out without your knowledge, that product is ringing in your ear and you will be tempted to buy. So we'll follow the same thing. What we'll do, we'll keep repeating. It's not that value lessons have to be told as soon as a child enters the school and we forget about it. No. We keep repeating the same thing in innovative ways. We keep reinforcing it through various methods so that the children are able to recall whenever it is actually important for them. So it must be so powerful that they are able to recall. Just like how the messages which are received from the outside world, we have to counter that message, whether it is from the negative information from the movies or from the world of the commercials. I'm not saying that commercials are all negative, but it's at least tempting them to buy more and more. So if we want them to get out of that kind of a culture, we need to reinforce, we have to keep telling them, is it a need or is it driven by greed? Do you really need to buy this? Do you really, this is something that we have to ask ourselves and keep telling, reiterating to our children. So desires can be unlimited, no problem. But do you think you should keep buying more and more? Should we hoard? Or is there a ceiling that we can put on what we buy? So these are the ways by which we have to keep repeating, reinforcing, and recalling these messages. And it is not left to only one particular teacher of one particular standard. We have to ensure that every teacher, we call this a value chain. Every teacher of every standard, every subject, every class has to, it's like a running race, like a baton. Every teacher has to keep including or integrating the values so that they are reinforced in in the throughout the school, throughout the time that the children spend in the school. So we every teacher is a link to this value chain, and therefore it is not just the language teacher or the social studies teacher, but the science teacher and the math teacher. Everybody can integrate values into their lessons. The first thing is the inspiring classroom. How do we inspire children in the classroom? Here, the subjects are integrated into the values are integrated into the subjects very, very seamlessly. Seamless, when we say seamless, it means like, there is salt in your dish. When you are eating a dish which is a spicy dish or a savory, or any ordinary dish in your home, there is salt prepared. You don't see it, but you know it is there. But if it is not there, you will immediately be able to find out. But if it is there, you don't tell every day, salt is there in my rasam, salt is there in my vegetable, salt is there in my dal. You don't say that. Similarly, the values also have to be embedded so subtly and so seamlessly into the lessons. You don't have to tell the children, now I'm going to teach you values. No, it has to come in so subtly. For example, if you're doing a math lesson, you're talking about percentage, you're talking about decimals, or you're talking about something that is accurate to a point. Then you say how accuracy is so important in life, not just in the math problem, but you have to be accurate when you're doing, even in small things, when you're measuring. For example, you're measuring something, when you're building something, every aspect, wherever you're going, this accuracy is something that you have to be very careful of. You can't have an approximation, you have to be very accurate. Just like how the decimals teaches that you have to be accurate, or the percentage teaches us how accurate the sum has to be. So this is just one way of teaching them. When you're teaching a lesson, you're just including a value subtly inside. And in the corridor, what happens? A corridor where I told you this is our learning spaces. These can be used to convey anything. These are actually agents of change. The foyer, the school foyer can serve when you put messages there, the bulletin boards, right above the washroom. You can say, keep your wash area clean. Wash your hands once you complete your work in the toilet. Wash your hands before eating. Above the tap, you can just post a message saying that, see that the tap is always closed. So this is how you make use of the spaces in the school. Every space that is there can be used to send a powerful message. And of course, most of the schools, all of you are doing it. You have the bulletin boards where you have inspiring stories of people who have done great things, inspiring personages. So all that is the inspiring corridor. And the campus is one where a holistic approach is you are trying to promote. You want to bring about a transformation. Here you have the teachers, the students, the non-teaching staff. All of them are geared for doing a particular, a common mission. You're all on the mission to promote values. So that is how the campus culture is being built in the school. You have a campus culture. This campus, we promote cleanliness. We plant trees. We don't encourage children to celebrate their birthdays by spending on useless things. Instead, they come and plant a sapling in the school. So that's a campus culture, an inspiring campus culture that you can promote. And the community is where you can ask somebody from the community to help, or you can ask the students to go out. If there is a waste management program, you can ask the students to promote segregation of waste in the community, at least in the nearby areas, rainwater harvesting. Now these are things that you can take up in the community and make the students also participate in that. Or you can ask somebody from the community to come to the school and give a demonstration of how these good things can be done. Health and hygiene can be promoted by bringing in maybe a doctor to speak about how they can take care of their health, not just physical health, but also mental health. All that forms part of the inspiring community. So now there is a lot of techniques that we use in the classroom to integrate these lessons. You can use quotations, you can use silent sitting or guided visualization, storytelling, you can use songs, and then you have activities. Let me run one more short activity for you all. How many of you can we have the other poll also coming up on the screen? Yeah. I want you all to answer. Once again, it is just always, sometime, never kind of a question. I include a lot of stories as part of my classroom teaching. Do you integrate stories which are relevant to your syllabus, which are relevant to your subject matter, not any kind of a story? So, do you include stories that are relevant to your subject matter as part of your classroom teaching? If you use it always, you can say click on that. If you use it sometimes, then you can click on that. If you never use it, then that too you can use. Yeah, sometimes, yes. So most of you have said that sometimes you use, and most of you have also said that you always use a story. Fine, that's a very good thing. So you use these to make it very inspiring. So when we have to talk about maybe water conservation, you can talk about inspiring stories of people who have conserved water in their own uh, place. Or when you're talking about natural resources, you can talk about the forest man of India who has planted, or there are quite a few people. There's one from Assam, Jadav Palong, and there's one from Kerala. People who have created their own small mini forests, in Karnataka, you have Timmaka, Salumarda Timmaka is there. So like this, you have a lot of local stories. You can use such stories in your as part of your lessons to integrate them as part of your lessons. Similarly, value songs, uh, quotations, activities, etc. Now, some examples to just quickly tell you how integration can be done. When you're talking about planets, you can talk about the order that they follow. No planet says today I think I want to go on a holiday. I don't think I am going to go in the same path, so I'll move away from my path. No planet ever says that. They follow a particular path, they follow an order, they follow a discipline. When you're teaching that to your students, you can definitely talk to them about road discipline, which is so important. You see children, you see people, adults talking on the phone and walking on the road, crossing wherever they want. So all these are not a part of the road discipline, or to wait until the previous vehicle moves, not jump the signal, not jump the queue when you, whether it is at a railway station or a bus stop. Always form a queue and then stand there. So all these can be taught very subtly when you're talking about planets. And when you're talking about social studies or sciences and resources, you can talk about water conservation, rainwater harvesting, stop polluting water bodies, don't go throw things when you eat chips or drink juice, don't go throw it on the water bodies. So many people do it. Or when you're talking about visiting a natural or visiting a place of interest, tourist interest, you see people writing on those beautiful stone architecture or those pillars, to tell them how we have to be take pride in our own heritage, culture. So you can talk about that in social studies. And how nature follows rules but man doesn't ever follow any rule. Talk about how we are paying a price. And in mathematics, when you're talking about like and unlike terms, you can say unlike terms cannot be added, but we can still write them together using this appropriate signs. You know the Bodmas rule, how many signs you use there. You tell them the story about the rat and the lion and the rat. Or when we're talking about Venn diagrams, we can say there can definitely be large areas where we don't meet, but there can be some point of integration or similarity. Similarly, people may not all be the same, but there are a few places where we do have some points of similarity, and let's focus on that. Let's not focus on hatred and dissimilarities, but let's focus on what we can do together. So these are some of the ways by which we can integrate. And this is an example for immersive spaces, how the space can be used. When I went for a training in a government school, I found the entire compound wall having a blackboard like this. And children sitting there in the evening, the older students would come and teach the younger ones, all under the watchful eye of the teachers. This used to be such a wonderful way of reinforcing the day's lessons, I thought. Or there is this particular picture of a an artist who wants to highlight potholes, so he would create an illusion on the road and then make these lifelike creature animals on the road. So or like having the window like this. So these are some of the ways by which these spaces can be used. Building is being used as a learning aid, the windows and the staircases. And in the campus, you have the sports, the games. When you're playing sports, the PE teacher can talk about how it is not the race won which matters, but it is the race run. So participation is more important, the spirit of competitiveness. So have a fair play, don't cheat when you are in sports. So you start teaching all this right from the time they're young, so they will not indulge in misbehavior or doing unethical things as they grow up. By chance, they get into sports later on. The school assembly is a lovely place to convey the values, the skits, the dramas through choir. And then, of course, you can run campaigns like waste management, take them on field trips, make them do social surveys. So, what is the outcome of all this holistic education that we are talking about? We want children to realize their potential. All aspects of their personality will have to be equally balanced. We want them to develop attitudes of selfless service. We want young people to actually have a lot of love for themselves and for others, appreciate themselves and others, and also take great responsibility for their actions. We are only talking about rights all the time. What about our responsibilities? So we want to prepare such students for these opportunities and the experience of adult life. We want them to become responsible young adults, bring out the human excellence, and also for the all round development of the children, not just the head. Just by acquiring degrees, they're not going to become good human beings. We want them to be good human beings with the heart, head, and hands all developed equally. And when children are exposed to value education in schools, there is definitely a better behavior. They have a greater equilibrium in their lives. They don't say, I'm totally lost. They are able to have control over themselves. And of course, as we've been stressing upon, there is emotional development, social development, and spiritual development, which is so important in today's world. And the teachers also, when they practice, they become, there is a harmony of all the three H. They're able to be at peace with themselves, though the world outside is very difficult. And teaching becomes a vocation, which is actually becoming more and more difficult in the world today. So these are some of the points that I wanted to talk in this session. What we have just shown you is, um, very brief. It's just a tip of the iceberg, I should say, because there are a lot of things that are part of the value education. So it is we need to have lot more sessions. If you have to uh, just give me a minute, I'll go off. Yeah. So if we have to practice value education, what I have shown today is just a sample. It's just an introduction. It's an orientation. It is just a trying to give you a slice of what value education is all about. There are a lot more things that are coming up. In fact, Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini is coming up with a full fledged course on Swayam, on education to inspire. I would request and encourage each one of you as teachers and educators and school leaders to enroll yourselves for this course on Swayam. You also get a certification from the Ministry of Education's Swayam platform. It is going to be dealing with all these aspects in great detail, and it will definitely help you all to practice value education, to integrate the values in your own respective schools, and to make them as wonderful places. At least those batches of children that are going through your institutions should benefit by these and become ideal citizens of this country, useful citizens to society, so that your schools can be the lighthouses that we want them to be, to excel in the field of education. So, thank you all for your patient listening. Now, I leave the field open for the next 10 minutes. Now, anyone has any doubt, you can, unmute yourselves and you can ask. I will try and help you to the extent that I can. Yes, the link to the course will be shared with all of you. It is still in the making, it is work in progress. We will be coming out with the course and we will be coming out with the announcement. You can expect it from us in the course of the next few months. We will definitely share the link with all of you so that you can perhaps use your summer holidays to complete the 30-hour program and get the certification from Swayam.
Sairam, madam.
Sairam.
Sairam, I am Ramamurthy from Vijayanaram district, Kottavalsa Samiti, education coordinator, and I am working as English school assistant.
Sairam. Hello. Yes.
Actually, even though we are going through all these techniques, storytelling and teaching all these moral values, the impact of the society or social media or parents is more than this. And how far we can take intention on this to make the children more powerful than the impact of society and parents, all those things. That is a big challenge for us. Even though we are giving more priority to teach these things than the subject, they are not sometimes, I feel, working due to this impact. Now, what can we do in this context?
Absolutely. I completely agree. Swami also tried to change all of us as good human beings. He never stopped doing it. 85 years of his glorious life's mission, he kept telling us. He never lost faith in us, isn't it? That's the only way for us. Keep praying, keep at it. I know the world outside is so difficult. It is making life all the more harder for teachers now because you are counteracting a lot of influences from outside. But that should not stop us from doing what we are doing. We just do our duty with love, with compassion, with prayer that, someday these lessons will definitely help. That is what we should be looking at. Don't worry, don't worry. You can keep doing what you're doing. Don't bother about the result. But for that, we cannot be without doing, because if we as teachers also stop, doing this, who else is there left to do it?
Yes, ma'am. The society, even though the education is not educationalist, even
Absolutely. Yes,
police.
we cannot change society. Yes, we can definitely
Yes.
not change the society.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
With me on this call, just before I take the next question, just a moment. With me on this call is also Brother V.L. Subramaniam. He is part of our Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini as well. So some of your questions can also be taken by him to give you all better clarity. So we will be doing this. We always work as a team in Vidya Vahini. So he is also there to help us to pitch. Yes, three of you have raised your hands. You can go one on one. Who's going first? Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Yes, Sairam. Your audio is not clear. Is it only for me or for the others also?
It's for everybody.
Problem, ma'am, from her side.
Okay, so who is the next person? Can another person speak by the time they this the audio gets corrected?
Sairam, ma'am. I am
Sairam?
Divya. And I am
Okay.
Divya, ma'am.
Sairam
From
Divya.
Vizianagaram. Sairam, ma'am. Elkota village, and from Vizianagaram district. I am working as a primary teacher, and as well as
Okay.
I am a Vikas teacher also. Swami given me
Okay.
that opportunity for me. I'm blessed with that. And nowadays, as you said, for the moral values and all, how we learn the lessons and all, how we learn the moral stories. As a part, we are trying to teach them that moral so that they have to give respect to the others, even for the respecting nature and helping others also. We are trying to teach, but sometimes if it is wrong also, for the grip of the parents, we are able to do any other action for them. Why? Because parents are not allowing, parents are not supporting it sometimes, even though it is wrong, but they are not supporting us. It's an wrong act going on, mom. How
Yeah,
can
we
we?
can't change the society. You see, we cannot change the society. At the same time, we cannot be preaching too many things. We have to, that's why we said subtly we'll integrate the values as part of the lessons, hoping that
Yes,
these messages will be imbibed by the children. And don't come hard on them saying that, too much of lecture mode is not going to help anybody. Nobody wants to listen to lectures. Nobody
Hear
wants to
you.
listen to. I'm not.
mom, you're not audible.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now it's
you are
okay.
audible, sister. Hello.
Am I audible
Akila,
or no?
now you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
audible.
Yes,
Now you
ma'am.
are
Please
audible. You can
continue.
go ahead.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So the point that I was trying to make is don't get too emotional about, don't get too involved saying that the parents, all these challenges are definitely going to be there. The speaker in front before you also said the same thing. This is the general, society now. This is the trend in society. You are going to fight a battle that is going against the parents, society, everybody. Nobody is going to support us in this way. What we need to do is, whenever you have a parent teacher meet, or when you're having your annual meet, tell them slowly that as parents, you have to help the school to carry out some of its activities. In the sense, if we are trying to tell them this, as parents, you should also make them, it is for the good of your children. So try to take the parents also into your confidence and try to do it, but don't get into a lecture mode or finding fault mode, because that is not what anybody is going to want. They are not going to
Yes.
listen. They don't want to listen to such things. So these are things that we have to do very subtly, and that's why we go on saying we have to do it subtle, not on your face value. It is not a discourse or a lecture. It is going to be a very subtle way of infusing values as part of the daily lessons. That is something that as teachers, all of us have to be very careful. Gone are the days where teachers can lecture. That is not going to work at all.
Madam Saira ma'am, this is Mallikarjuna,
Sairam?
Polytechnic lecturer, madam.
Sairam?
Can I
Yes.
speak in Telugu, ma'am? I want to share
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. No problem.
Many courses అంటే డిగ్రీ కావచ్చు, ఇంటర్మీడియట్, వీటిలో ఇంతకుముందు హెచ్వి అంటే హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ ఉండేది మేడం. ఇప్పుడు టెక్నికల్ లో చూసుకున్నట్లయితే మెయిన్ గా ఇప్పుడు అంత మొత్తం ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అంతా కూడా స్కిల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఓరియంటెడ్ లో జరుగుతుంది కరికులం అంతా. అంటే వాళ్ళు చదువుకున్న తర్వాత ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత వెంటనే జాబ్ గెటింగ్ చేయాలి, ఈ మోడ్ లో ఉంటారు. అంటే మీరు ఏదైతే ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారో ఆ విధంగా. సో ఇక్కడ అంటే మనం సొసైటీని ప్రతి ఒక్కటి మార్చలేం. బట్ మీరు చెప్పారు, స్వామి ఏమని చెప్పారంటే ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ క్యారెక్టర్. అంటే యాజ్ ఎ టీచర్ గా మనం పిల్లలు మనం చెప్పేది మనం లెసనే కాదు, మన బిహేవియర్ ద్వారా కూడా చాలా నేర్చుకుంటారు. దాన్ని బట్టి మనం ఉండాలి అని స్వామి చెప్పారు. దాన్ని మేము ఫాలో అవుతున్నాము. ఇక్కడ అంటే ఈ సిలబస్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయడం ద్వారా కూడా ఇప్పుడు టెక్నికల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నికల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ అనే ఒక సిలబస్ లేదు మేడం. అంటే మన సత్యసాయి ద్వారా మనకంటే సెంట్రల్ లో కూడా మనకు సర్కిల్ ఉంటుంది, మనకు పరిచయాలు ఉంటాయి. వాళ్ళ ద్వారా కూడా కొద్దిగా ఇట్లా చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది అనేది నా ఒపీనియన్. అంటే మనం ప్రతి ఈ క్లాసుల్లో కొన్ని సిలబస్ చేస్తుంటాం కానీ హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ గురించి చెప్పలేం మేడం.
కరెక్ట్. ఎక్కడ ప్రత్యేకంగా హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ గురించి మీ పాలిటెక్నిక్ అని కాదు, ఏ కాలేజ్ లో గానీ, ఏ డిగ్రీ ఇచ్చే ఎక్కడ కూడా హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ అని ప్రత్యేకంగా ఎవరికి లేదు. బట్ ఇప్పుడు యూజీసీ ఇప్పుడు యూజీసీలో ఒక 1 క్రెడిట్ కోర్స్, 2 క్రెడిట్ కోర్సెస్ హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉండాల్సింది అని చెప్తున్నారు. కానీ అది కూడా అది కోరో ఎలెక్టివ్ లోనో లేదు. అది వచ్చి ఆప్షనల్ గా పెట్టి ఉన్నారు. ఎలెక్టివ్ ఆప్షన్ అనే పెట్టి ఉన్నారు. సో దాని గురించి మీరు బాదర్ చేయకండి. మీరు మీ లెసన్స్ ద్వారా ఎక్కడెక్కడ హ్యూమన్ వాల్యూస్ ని ఇంటగ్రేట్ చేయడానికి వీలవుతుందో అక్కడక్కడ మీరు కొంచెం వాళ్ళకి అందుబాటు చేయండి. అంతేకాని మనం ఇంతకన్నా, అండ్ బై ద టైమ్ దే కమ్ టు యువర్ పాలిటెక్నిక్, బై ద టైమ్ దే కమ్ దే ఆర్ ఆల్రెడీ అడల్ట్స్. సో వాళ్ళకు ఐ డోంట్ నో. చెప్పండి.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
Hey, sir, I am Vinod Kumar from Kerala. Can I proceed?
Yeah, please come. If you have any question, you can just please ask your question quickly so that we'll give chance to everybody. Your audio is not clear, sir. Your audio is not clear. We're not able to.
Sairam ma'am?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. Chappan.
Sairam madam?
I'm working as a science teacher in Sri Vishwashanti English Medium School. You, ma'am? I'm a primary teacher, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also dealing with in Balapadi is my village. I'm teaching Balavikas Guru. I'm working as a Balavikas Guru also. When I'm dealing with the primary students, every day I'm sharing the Swami stories, moral values in the 3rd class and 5th class, 4th class students, ma'am. They are applying whatever I am teaching because ఏదో తెలుగులో ఒక సామెత ఉంటుంది మొక్కై వంగనిది మానై వంగున అని చిన్న పిల్లలప్పటి నుంచి మనం నేర్పిస్తే డెఫినెట్గా అది వాళ్ళు లైఫ్లో చేసి చూపిస్తున్నారు క్లాస్లో అంతకుముందు నేను డీల్ చేసేటప్పుడు మొత్తం పేపర్స్ అన్ని చింపేసి క్లాస్ అంతా డస్ట్బిన్ లాగా చేసేవాళ్ళు అది నేను చెప్తూ ఉండగా వాళ్ళు అసలు అనేది టేర్ చేయడం గానీ, చింపడం గానీ చేయకుండా చక్కగా క్లాస్ నీట్‌గా పెట్టుకోవడం. వాళ్ళు యూజ్ చేసినవి ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో షార్ప్‌నర్స్ అవన్నీ డస్ట్‌బిన్‌లో వేయడం. క్లాస్ నీట్‌గా ఉంచుకోవడం. ఎవరికైనా స్లో లెర్నర్స్‌కి హెల్ప్ చేయడం. డెఫినిట్‌గా ఈ స్టోరీస్ ద్వారా హెల్పింగ్ నేచర్ వాళ్ళలో డెవలప్ అయింది. సెల్ఫ్ క్లీనింగ్ డెవలప్ అయింది. డెఫినిట్‌గా చేంజ్ అయితే ఉంది
Very
మేడం.
good.
ఎందుకంటే
So I think you have already explained that what is the outcome, and in last slide నేను పెట్టింది I think you have already explained. Very good. Thank you. That is a personal born out of personal experience. Excellent. ఎవరికైనా questions ఉంటే మాత్రం please చెప్పండి. If you have any question, if you want any doubt, we'll give you a separate time for you to describe or narrate your experiences. Right now, since we are running out of time, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Saira ma'am.
Saira Sai.
Yes.
Vinod Kumar from Kerala, teacher, sir.
Okay.
I know Madam Vidya Vahini is working as a resource for NCRT, CBSE and Ministry of Education in these matters. So how to integrate values in lesson plans. For example, in physics, I am taking a lesson on magnetic field. So whether these things, I mean, as a teacher has to refer how values can be integrated in a lesson on light or on magnetic field. Whether these lesson plans are shared in any public domain in SSSV
Yes,
website.
if you look into Sairam, if you look into your chat, we have shared the links which is there for everybody on the Government of India's Swayam platform. Please make a note of it. Please go there and you can register yourself, log in, and then you will have access to all the material that Vidya Vahini has put up on these sites. Please look into your chat box. Yeah, you can take the links from there.
Saira ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Sairam.
Saira ma'am. నేను మన్యం
Yes, please. Okay.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ మోరల్ వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి కదండి నేను దివ్యాంగులకి టీచర్ని వాళ్ళకి చెప్పాలి అని అంటే టోటల్లీ బ్లైండ్ అండ్ సెరిబ్రల్ అలాంటి పిల్లలకి చెప్పాలంటే ఈజీ టెక్నిక్స్ ఇంకా ఏమైనా
Okay, అది కూడా మా విద్యావాహినిలో we are working for inclusive education అని we are having another stream. So they are coming out with content which is going to be adaptable for all those children with disabilities. So please be on the lookout. It will also be put up on our Swayam platform. We will send the information across. Our website is www.srisathyasaividyavahini.org. Keep logging into you can keep looking into this Vidya Vahini website. You will get all the information. ఇప్పుడు మీరు అడుగుతున్నారు కదా దివ్యాంగ్ వాళ్ళకు కూడా ప్రత్యేకంగా అసెట్స్ అని అదే అంటే మా కాంటెంట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి మేడ్ అవైలబుల్ ఫర్ దెమ్. So we are working extensively for bringing this content to the country. For the first time, Vidya Vahini, nobody has done this for inclusive education. But Swami has provided this wonderful opportunity, and Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini is coming up with content for the inclusive education also. So keep looking into our website. It is you will get a lot of information there, and you can make use of it.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం థ్యాంక్ యూ
Madam.
Sairam.
Madam.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes, I'm Dr. Radhika from Kakinada, and I'm working
Okay.
as an associate professor in engineering college, ma'am.
Okay.
We had human values subject also for them. in the curriculum. Whereas students are not utilized, they read just like a subject, technical subject, like 1 or 2 days they will read, just attempt the answers. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, my opinion is that our organization may held some practical sessions to them, or else just train the faculty members in Swami's ways, like how to inculcate the human values, or how to behave.
What you can do is we do conduct sessions. We have a content training team. We do conduct sessions for the faculty. So what you can do is you can send a request to our director. You can mail your request to the director, Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini.org, and you can place your request. We'll definitely look into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a Balavika student, and also now I'm doing as a Kakinada spiritual coordinator. Being all these things, some students come to me and they used to tell, ma'am, you're different from other faculty. Why? Because you never scold, you never shout on others. You are different, ma'am. We just
Wonderful.
follow
So
you.
that means Swami's
Why?
value
Because
education is working.
yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
And
Very good. Very good.
my
So
aim
happy.
is that the people, at least 1 or 2 persons, can change. Yeah, that is a achievement to me. Like that, I used to behave, but the faculty, other faculty, can also be understand that why she is behaving like that. Why other students are.
Let's just look at ourselves first, and then we will hope that we set an example for others. Don't worry about others.
Yes,
Any question? Any other question do you have, or we can? I'll just take one last question. We're already shooting out of time. Yeah, please.
Yes. My request, ma'am. My request is that.
Yeah. You can write. You can just send the mail as I told you. Please send the mail to the director. You will get your response.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Madam. Paradipuram. Hello.
Yes, please tell your question. This will be the last question as we are already past time. Yeah.
So, Sairam, Vashti, Samishti, Srishti, Parameshti. What is the meaning of 4 or?
Vashti is individual, Samashti is society, Srishti is nature, and Parameshti is creation. So what I wanted to tell you during that particular slide was that there is disharmony in all these levels.
Yes, madam.
Which is what we need to correct through value education.
Vashti, VYST, Vashti. Vashti, what is the meaning of Vashti?
Vyashti is individual.
Individual. Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Samishti society.
Sairam, madam. Good
Okay,
evening.
madam.
Sairam, madam. Good evening.
If I may request, we will conduct more sessions and maybe we will open the floor a little late during that time. It's already past time, so I don't want to overshoot this program by much. You've all been waiting here for more than 1 hour and 40 minutes. So if it is okay with all of you, can I, is there anything, Brother Subramaniam, Subhu brother, you want to say something and we can close the call?
Madam, we want the slides.
Yeah, it is there. It will be available as a YouTube link. We'll share the link with you. All right. So we can close the call with the Shanti mantra.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. dedicating this at Swami's lotus feet. And thank you all very much for your time and presence this evening. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, madam.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai
Sai
Ram,
Ram.
madam.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you, Sai Ram.